Hey up everybody and welcome back. Well, I haven't even had a chance to get my coat on yet, but the heating went off, so I grabbed the time while it was quiet to say hello. What are we going to do today? Right, well, the bits came for in the gearbox here, so we'll get that done and put the outer cover on. And a couple of bits came to go in the timing chest here where the oil pump goes, so we'll probably get that done, and a couple of minor. There's a little filter goes in the bottom of here and there's things going. We'll try and get all these done. Then the clutch rubbers came, so we can do the clutch. So basically what we're going to do is just set to with what we've got and go as far as we can. Don't think there's anything else to tell you. Not I'm getting a lot of comments. It's taking me ages to answer them, but I will do. They come in little bursts of about 10 at a time. Got some more subscribers, 3,400 and something, so we're moving along a pace there. And that's about all I can think of to say, so let's get on with some work. Now you may recall we were missing one of these pillar bolts and the two little rollers that go on them. So, bought them. That comes off. I've got a spare one. I'm not sure what's in the other gearbox, so that's why I bought two of these. I thought wouldn't go amiss. So that goes in there like that. And that goes in there. Except it doesn't want to screw in. Let me go and get a tap and run a tap in there. I never like it when a steel bolt won't go into aluminium. Never force them, because it's the aluminium that's going to come off worse. So unless, like that one, I can screw them in finger tight down till they need to be tightened up. See, that's almost there, but not quite. So let me go and get a tap and run that through there. So this is 5/16 BSW, 18 threads per inch. Don't worry, I had my eyes closed when I was doing that blowing. There we go. It's more like it. Doesn't go all the way. And as I say, I am not going to force it. And this is a bottoming tap, so it should be alright. Actually, I can see daylight through it, so this is drilled all the way through. It's actually at the back end of this case where it sticks out past the sort of major portion of the gearbox. Again, don't force it, because if it can't keep going in, it'll just crunch up the threads. Tell you what, there's not much thread sticking out of these top ends to put a nut on there. There we go. Is that one of those springs popping off? No, both on. Okay. That in tight. That in tight. Then see what I mean? There's bugger all sticking out. I'm going to put some what's its face, some blue Loctite on these. Let me screw them up to make sure we're all right. I had somebody make a comment about open-ended spanners. I think that's what he was talking about. He's got a French name, so he said something about ditching these and getting some sockets and what have you. Well, there's lots of places all you can get in is an open-ended, so I don't know what he was on about. See, they don't come all the way out, so I'll put something on there. But what I want to do before we finish in here is I'm going to put the gear change lever on and see if it'll go through the gears. Alright, all the little bits in, and Guinness Book of Records job here, the longest gear change lever in the business. Kickstart's on, the spring works. So it's almost clear of there. Gonna have to tuck this right in. Anyway, let's see what happens here. So we're in neutral there. There's a gear. There's another gear. And there's another gear. And don't forget we only have 3. So there's that one. Equivalent of second. There's the last one. There's neutral. And I guess because we've taken that thing out, it won't go to what would have been first. Alright, we can put the outer cover on here. Got a thingy to go in there. Then plug still in the bottom, so we've got the filler plug to go in. I wonder if I've got the filler plug. There might be one on the other gearbox. Okay, let me bolt this up and we'll move on to the oil pump, I think. And just in case anybody is worried I've forgotten it, I've put the little 1/4 inch ball in there. I had one comment about it and the person mentioned that they don't fall out. Well, they do fall out. I mean, if they wouldn't fall out, they wouldn't go in. They're not captive, they've got to be able to spin in there, so you've got to put some grease in so they don't fall out. Anyway, I'll put it on now. Now I haven't put the kickstart and the gear change lever on because the gear change lever goes on first, and as you know it sticks right out here, so I thought it would be easier to do this without it there. But get on the phone to Hitchcock's. I forgot, I've only got 1 cover. I even bought 2 screws. I don't know what I was thinking of. I bought 2 screws and only 1 cover. And I think there's a little doodad. I could make one, but I think there's a little doodad to fill that hole as well. So, bugger. Alright, let's have a look now at this oil pump and the timing chest and everything. Here we have our timing chest, the very distinctive shape of the Royal Enfield. Now this isn't just a timing chest, this has actually got the oil pump in it. Double oil pump, one side for feed, one side for return. And this piece here has got a felt element oil filter in it. Oil comes in through the oil filter and back out. Now, an interesting thing is, I'll dig out a photograph of it. On some of the bikes you'll see, I don't know if they did it on all the Works bikes or what, I've got to look it up, but they actually cut this off, machined it off, to give the, so it didn't stick out as much down there, you know, because this is going to be right at the bottom of the engine, so you don't want things sticking out. But I'm just wondering how they did, because obviously there are drill layers here to get the oil into the filter and back out of the filter, so when we take it apart we'll have a little look. I don't know whether I want to try it or whether I'll just leave it on this one. On the other bike we might do it. Anyway, so there's that, right? So in here There's the drive for the oil pump, which you remember the worm on the end of the crankshaft. And this is what is known as a quill feed. That sticks into the end of the crankshaft. There is a seal that goes on here. It's actually cork, which you'll see when we put it together. And the oil is pumped through this, and that pumps it into the crankshaft to go up through the crankshaft, through the flywheel to the big end. Okay, so let's take it apart and see what's what. Now here's a little tip for you, and I've just been getting the tools out. Every now and again you come across bolts here that the ordinary set of Whitworth spanners won't fit. If ever you're stuck for that, you're more likely to find a metric that will fit than you are to find a sort of imperial that will fit. So this one was just too small for all the Whitworth spanners I had, but it's a perfect size for an 8mm. Well, not perfect, but very, very near enough. Okay, so let's start by taking off the oil filter, or taking out the oil filter. Suppose I should really do this in a tray, but I don't think that there's any oil in here. Well, fingers crossed. There we go. Okay, there's that. Washer on there and a felt washer. Oh, same at that end as well. Thin washer. Not a felt washer, a fibre washer, sorry. I've gone over to using these here, come on, I can remember the name, I've been reminded often enough, Doughty washers. They're really good, they really seal well, and you can tighten up nicely on them as well. Yeah, a little bit of oil. Little bit of oil. I put it on this cloth and I've just noticed this cloth's got holes in it. Well, it's sort of stencil things. So that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Anyway, there's that. Oh, did I move you out of shot there? Almost. Oh, this is actually the original oil filter. I don't think it's one of the... Yes, it is an original. Look at that. More oil, people. Oh. What did I do? Oh, there it is. Excuse me. It doesn't really matter so much because the wood is actually varnished. Alright, now I can't remember how that comes out. Not a lot of good to you, that really, is it? You're watching this to find out how things work, and here's me saying, oh, I don't know how that works. See what that little screw's for. It's probably just a little plug in the end of an oil weight. We'll put it in there. I think that just bumps out. Let me get a soft hammer. God, it's not that long since I did the Indian, is it? And this is all the same. There we are. It actually screws out. Which is why you don't bash things with something heavy. You just give it a little tap, and if it doesn't move, try something else. Alright, so there's that. We'll take it out because I'm going to give this little felt washer at the bottom of that. We'll put these back on so we don't lose them. That goes on like that. And that goes on. Actually, I won't put that on because I'm going to clean it. Just put them there like that. And how fortuitous, there's a little bag there, look. Put that in there. Alright. So now we'll take off the oil pump parts. Where's my little 8mm? Actually, I just looked at the other engine, and the other engine has 2 bolts in each end as well. Why, I don't know. Just the way whoever was taking them all apart kept the bits together. Oh! Ah, now there is some oil in here, look. Now there's all new gaskets in the kit for this. I suppose I should have got a little... Actually, I don't know if I could have fitted a socket on there. See, you need open-ended. Sometimes there just isn't the space needed. If you're wondering again about Spot, he'll turn up. He's gone very funny ever since he's got back from his holidays. Okay. Spring and ball. Well, half a ball, a domed end, should we say. There we go. A little plunger there. Right, now then, I'm going to have to... Let me clean my hands a moment, because, oh, there it is. I want to show you down there, it's actually a sort of reciprocating pump. That shaft there obviously is just turning in a circular motion, but on the end of it, hopefully you can see there is a pin, and the pin is off centre. So as that pin goes round, it's a little bit like a crankshaft. It goes up and down, and that is what works. Where have I put it? I lost the pump already. That is what works, that plunger. And that does our pumping, and there are various oil ways, as you can see, for sucking and pushing as that goes up and down. So the other end is the same. So let me take this apart. Hang on a second. Just got to keep making sure, because I know I'm moving about a bit here. There it goes. And there we have the shaft. Now I'm not sure if it makes any difference at all but That's pretty good, it's not worn much. But, as I was saying, I'm going to put a little mark on this end of here so that I know which is the, where are we, the front end. So let me clean that up and go and get a white marker. I suppose I should keep one of these in my pocket, shouldn't I? Okay, so what did I say this was? This is the front. Okie doke. Right. Now then, I suppose we should also make sure that we keep these the same as well. I'm putting them out of your sight, but what I'm doing is I'm putting them so I can keep the pump that came out of the front end with the front end of the drive shaft. So here we go. Are you still with me? Yep. Hang on a second, I'm just moving these over there so all the front end stuff is together. I'll get a little tray out in a minute, some bags and things, and put all this so I know where it is. This one's a really awkward one. And of course you have that spring inside. Oh, there's the heating starting. Bear with me for a little while. Actually, it's near the end of the day. Let me go and turn it off. It's got a... Oh, there we go. I was going to say it's got a cycle off, but it didn't get its cycle started. Oh, just to let you know, we've got our first bit of snow today. I think it's about November the 7th or the 8th, something like that. 8th, I think. Alright, so here we go. Here's the other end. Okay. Only other thing to do now is to take out the quill itself. Hang on, did I get... Oh, that's right, I didn't have a spanner that size, or a socket, but I do have... There we go. And there you can see that's like a banjo bolt. See the hole in? So pressure's being fed to it through one of the oil ways, through the hole there, and out through the quill to the crankshaft. Okay, so that's that all apart. What I'm going to do now is give this a good clean out. Oh, looks very nice in there. There's no particular score marks or anything. Some sludgy, dirty old oil in there. We get this all cleaned up, and then I'll give this a polish, and then we'll put it back together. All right. So as I say, we're near the end of the day, so that will do for today. And I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow morning. No excuses. Don't be late. Okay, let me get seated here and ready. I've given that a good clean up and a bit of a polish. But before we put it all together, I thought I'd show you the way the oiling system works, because it's slightly different. And also it explains, now I think about it, I understand this. Alright, so that would normally be on there. This is the oil tank on an Enfield. It's not a separate tank, it's cast in. So when it's full of oil, the oil level is right up here. Just with the engine standing without it running or anything. So hopefully here, you'll have to bear with me, with the aid of some compressed air and a bit of yellow paper, we'll show you what's what. Alright, in here there is a drilling with a hole at the bottom into which one of 2 oil filters fits. So that goes in there. So the oil is filtered coming out of here, going up there to this drilling here. And I'll show that that's the right one. Thusly. Make sure it's not the hole with the threads in. Okay. So as I say, we've got oil level up here. So normally this is full of oil. That goes on like that. So here you'll see the oil hole that lines up with that. So the oil is going to go in there. Then it's going to come through to our pump. And it's going to come through that one there. See if I can prove it. Whoops, wrong one. It comes through that one there. So actually that one there. Then it gets it into the pump. The pump pumps it out through that one there. I'm hoping you can see all this. And then that one there. Where's my egg? Don't know if this was a brilliant idea. I don't know if you can see that bit of paper on the bottom. Anyway, that blows down through here. You remember there's a little screw in, and it goes into this end of the air filter. Then just here, if you were able to look in there, there's another drilling, so the oil's gone in through the filter, comes up through there. Now you'd think maybe there was a hole here, but there isn't. It actually goes up to this hole here. So now we've got pressurized oil being sent through the oil filter, through here, and that's going to go through the quill into the crankshaft. Then it drains back into the crankcase. And we have another one of those. So it drains down, fills this up, comes out at the top, and comes out of here. Then exactly the same as at the other end, we have 2 holes here. So it goes into the oil pump, comes out of the oil pump and goes into that hole. Again, make sure I'm not doing screws here. That's threads on that, I think. Up to the rockers, feeds the rockers, comes back down the pushrod tubes into here. Then it all gets caught up, and you see that hole there? That's the return to the oil pump, the oil tank. And that's why these help. See, if you didn't have them in, the oil wouldn't get up to this. They actually pump the oil up there and it goes in and then goes all the way back round. So I hope that made sense to you. So we can put these back on. There are thrust washers on these. Where are we with the old oil can? Put a bit of oil on. You watch, I'm going to look at this piece of video I've just done and find the entire thing I was out of shot. Hopefully not. And that goes on there like thus. Goes on there, and then we have a thrust washer on either side here as well. Alright, so now I'm going to put the oil pump back together again, and we'll put this on here. I won't rebuild this completely, just a quick reminder for you. That's in there. That goes on there. That goes there. That goes there. And the same the other end. So let me put it together. I'll oil it up as I put it together, and I've got new gaskets for the ends. Just thought of something I should have mentioned. Actually, I got to the end of the video, and I was editing it, and I suddenly realised I should have mentioned this. You'll notice the two pumps are different sizes. And, probably more importantly, the two plungers are much different sizes. I'm not exactly sure how these pumps work. These two holes on each of them go straight through. These two seem to go into where this plunger style piston is, which has a little ring round it. But anyway, the important thing I wanted to mention was, as with all dry sump oil systems, this is the feed pump, that's the return pump. The return pump always pumps a larger capacity than the feed, because this is scavenging the bottom of the engine. If you had this pumping in more oil than this could pump out, or even more or less the same, the bottom of the engine would start to fill up with oil, and certainly when you stop the engine there would be oil in it. But if you have more being pumped out than is being pumped in, then it doesn't affect the feed. The volume of feed is the same, the pressure of the feed is the same, but what happens is that when it gets to the bottom it gets pumped out, and then it'll just pump air for a little bit, and then it'll get back up to the level when this can pump. So this can be a little disconcerting if you look in your oil tank when the engine's running and you see the return is spurting out. There'll be oil, air, oil, air. It's not that the pumps aren't working right, it's just that because this pumps more than that, let's say in a minute that pumps a pint in, and this pumps a pint out in half a minute. So in each minute you pump a pint in there, and then in the next half minute it's being pumped back out, but obviously that's only pumped in a half a pint then. So as I say, it pumps it out, catches up, pumps it out, catches up. So if you see that spurting in your oil tank, don't worry about it, it's supposed to do that. But anyway, there's the two pumps. I just took these out of the other cases, and this one, I don't know what the hell was sticking it in, but my God, it took some getting out. Anyway, that's all I wanted to tell you about that. I've put the gasket on, greased it up. So the last thing before we actually put the cover on, I've oiled everything, is where the quill is, because you want to be able to seal that because it's oil pressure. So on the BSAs you have a little oil ring, what have you. Here there is this cork seal that goes in there. And then the, where is it? Where's it gone? I've lost it. Just to put it down. There it is. Then that, you see, will go, when that goes in, we'll go into that, and then we've got a nice tight seal. Because you may remember the oil's going into there and through that hole there. Okay, so let me pop this on and put the screws in. Put that in, and then we'll move on to something else. One last thing I wanted to show you. There's that cork seal in there. So as I say, when the quill goes in, it will go through that. The quill will, the threaded portion of the quill will tighten up against the cork, squeeze the cork, you know, squeeze the cork like that, and that'll squeeze it both onto the quill going down the centre and onto the sort of curved face of the end of the crankshaft. So there's the tan chest on, all the plugs and filters are in. Gear change lever, kick start. They don't have to stick out a long way, there's only just enough room for your boot. Okay, let's put the carburetor on. Right, carburetor, I've already put the cable on because I didn't think you need to be seeing that. Got our O-ring in. Now, as always with Amels, you can't just pop them on and stick the nuts on because there's never enough room. And also you want to use slimmer nuts. But and it's this side which is always the problem, where the tickler is. I mean, there's the same casting on both sides, but it's just because when the tickler's there it's a little more awkward. See what I mean? And you know what really makes it difficult to get these nuts on? Trying to work it round the camera so you people can't see what I'm doing. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now once you're on, you've got enough room to do it. Ta-da-ta-da. Why will that go on there? Oh, idiot. I was just telling you about the nuts, wasn't I? And the nut was up against the casting. Alright. Spanner, spanner. Well, let me get a spanner and tighten that up and you know what it's going to be like. And here's a little something just for the chap who said throw away my open-ended wrenches. How am I going to get a ring spanner or socket onto that? Alright, that goes there. Cable's going to go probably up round that way. Not too bad, let me pull you back. There we go. So there's a head steady that goes on there, I've got that. But what we're really waiting for are these boxes, these blocks rather. Put the blocks on, put the covers on, put the coil on there, and then we'll do the other side. Well, I thought since we were trying to finish this side off, I'd put the exhaust on because it wouldn't fit anywhere near. I've had to work at it to tweak it around, and I've unfortunately put a couple little dents in it up near the cylinder head, but doesn't look bad, so I've got to make a silencer for that. It goes in between the frame and the rear mudguard. What is it? Oh, I see him. It's that mouse, isn't it? Huh? And the cats don't come up, do they? There he goes. Nah, you're too slow. Alright, that's it for this week, so we'll get on and you all go and enjoy yourselves.